hey, let's go shoot some bows real quick and let's see what you think. And then they see you having fun, and they get contagious about it. The excitement builds itself and goes from there.
Welcome to the IHUNT podcast. I am your host, Jason Hamlet, and thank you for tuning in. Man, it has been a crazy weekend in my house. Got through doing some remodeling for the wife. We done some painting the weekend before, and this past weekend we ripped up all our carpet, and I put in some vinyl wood flooring, and let me tell you, that shit is a bitch to get in. My fingers hurt, my quads hurt, my back hurts. Oh man, it was a long weekend, but I am so glad it's done, because now that gives me free reign for turkey season and to get out in the woods, and made the wife happy. She's ecstatic, so shouldn't catch any flack from her, and hopefully I'll be able to get out and get a bird, and all that hard work will be worth it. Going to start next week getting out and doing some preseason scouting. Hopefully I can have a friend of mine tag along with me, and we can do a podcast after that, and hopefully give you guys an update on how all that is going. So we should have some great podcasts coming up as we get geared up for turkey season. We'll be spending a lot of time out in the woods over the next few weeks. Turkey season is 3 weeks from today, so we're going to be hitting it hard and trying to locate some birds, and we'll come back on and tell you about it, and I'll give you an update at the beginning of each show, and when I do get one, you guys will be the first to know. And please let me know how your turkey season's going. You can shoot me an email at theihuntpodcast@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on Twitter at the IHUNT Podcast. I'm always on there. You mention me, I will most likely reply to you. Another great follow is my guest today, the Bowhunting Savage, Jeff Vance. Now, Jeff, you can follow him on Twitter at Jeff from Iowa. Jeff's a great guy. He is a head of state for Bucks of Wisconsin. He talks about that a little bit. And then he is also a pro staff for Veterans IP, and he goes into detail about some of the broadheads they have and some of the tests they're getting ready to do on them. And it sounds pretty exciting, and I think it makes for a pretty good listen. So I hope you all enjoy it. And I do need to plug a few more things. If you guys can follow my Facebook page at the IHUNT Podcast, and please, however you're listening to this on Stitcher, iTunes, whatever it is, please rate it, review it. That's the best way for me to move up the ranks and so more people can find me. And if you're liking the show and you want to support it right now, that's the best possible way you can. So I'm done rambling. I'm done giving my spiel. I'm done begging you guys for some attention. So sit back and listen to the Bowhunting Savage, Jeff Vance. Well, joining me on the line today is Pro Staff for Bucks of Wisconsin, Pro Staff for Veterans Innovative Products. He is a Bowhunting Savage, Mr. Jeff Vance. Jeff, how was your weekend?
Non-stop.
Non-stop. Well, that could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. How was it? Was it good?
Oh, yes. It was very rewarding. The people I got to meet and talk to and go over things and opening up new doors, couldn't ask for a more successful weekend.
Well, where did you meet everybody at?
Well, I went to Madison. They do an annual turkey event, Deer and Turkey Show, and it's been going on for quite a few years. And this is my second year attending it, and it just seems to be growing from last year to this year. I got to meet Matt Fury from Veteran IP. Got to meet up with Rick from Slumber Seats. Him and I have been conversing for 2 years now over Twitter and such, and we've met in person several times, which has been pretty cool.
Did he give you any seeds?
No, he gave me a seat last year, but I have a couple of seats in multiple stands, so they are really, really comfortable. I recommend everybody getting those because it's one of those things where you will fall asleep.
Oh, seeds, like planting seeds. Okay.
Slumper seats. That's started this company here a couple of years ago, making different seats for platforms and for different tree stands. So this way you can be comfortable in anything wherever you're sitting at. So this way you may be cold, but you're comfortable.
Makes those long day sits a little easier.
Yeah, and he also introduced new boot warmers too. Jake picked up a pair, so I'm excited to hear what his thoughts are come the end of next deer season, this upcoming deer season, how his experience was with them.
I would like to know too, because that's one thing that I always have trouble keeping warm, and that's my feet. I can't keep them warm.
I learned here a couple of years ago to get Hot Hands. They make the Hot Hands name brand. They make these ones that go from toe to heel. They have different versions of one. Some will last 5 hours, 7 hours, but if you dig, you can find ones that last up to 9 hours. And those right there I've had no failure with them. They've been great for me. Every time I see them, I'm always buying multiple ones. And now I just tell everybody to buy them because for the amount of time for a lot of people can hunt, they're a little bit more in a price range where people can afford them. They're only $3 a pair. And if you're only going to be hunting for a week, well, it doesn't necessarily justify going out and buying a $130 pair of heating socks, Now,
I don't think I've tried the complete toe to heel. I've done the toe warmers, just the ones that cover the toe, and I've done those on the top and the bottom of my foot. And I threw in just a regular hand one on my heel. And my feet are still cold. I don't know. Maybe I'm just and that's weird. As my feet are always hot any other time. Laying in bed, my feet are hot. Any other time, my feet are hot. But when I'm in the woods, God, they're cold. I don't know. Maybe I get sweat, or I don't know what it is.
Well, how thick are your boots? Because me personally, I use 800 grain boots for insulation. They've been they're not muck boots. They're made by Field and Stream, but they have the same design. Because a couple of my properties, I have to go through creeks to get to my trail cams, or get to a tree stand. So I just found that they work out great, and then it goes all the way up to my knee, and it's like I just stay relatively comfortable throughout the cold.
Maybe that's my problem. I got 400 in thin slit because I try to make it comfortable for both turkey and deer, and my logic behind it was I can just throw on 3 or 4 pairs of socks, but obviously doesn't work.
Well, what comes down to that is that you put so many socks on that you also end up reducing your circulation to your foot, because you also have to. Now, are these lace-ups too you're using?
They're not lace-ups, no.
Okay, so that could be a factor too, because if there's not enough blood circulation there too, you're going to run into that issue. So for me personally, I have a one pair of boots for throughout the winter. And then I have another pair that I use for for spring, and I use for early fall. So this way, then I have a nice balance. This way, I'm not too uncomfortable. Because the biggest thing, if you're going to be in your tree stand for about between 8 to 10 hours, you're going to want to be comfortable for your feet.
Well, I had planned on making that purchase this year before it got cold. I was like, well, I'm going to get me some nice pair of boots because I ain't going through what I went through last year. Mm-hmm. But I was fortunate enough to kill 3 does, and I filled my buck tag before it got cold, so I didn't have to buy any boots.
Pat yourself on the back. I made a mistake of moving farther away from my hunting land, so I'm over 70 miles away, which is difficult to be able to get out there. And I didn't have as much time as I thought I would, the year before. But I also changed a different job, which took more of my time. And the biggest thing is if you're going to make hunting a big priority of your life, you need to accommodate to it. If you're working 40 hours a week, but you're working second shift, your weekends are kind of shot because you're not getting off work on Fridays until midnight or so. And
well, I think a lot of people share that same sentiment out there. I don't think a lot of us can get out there and hunt as much as they'd like to, and that's kind of the direction I want to gear my show towards, is helping those people out, because that's me. We have limited time to spend in the woods, so how do we optimize that time in the woods to come back successful?
There was a podcast from Mark Kenyon. He runs Wired to Hunt, and he had Tom Dury on it, and he did amazing breakdown on how he looks at the weather. He doesn't pay attention to the moon cycle, but he pays attention to the barometric pressure and how it's going to affect their feeding and their patterns from coming in and out, and also when the does are going to go into heat. So after listening to that, it's like it really changed my course of how I want to change the limited time I have. And he breaks it down like early season, mid-season, and late season. So this way you're not like in December, you're from sun up to sunrise. It's like just he says if you're going to hunt late December, start at noon and just go until dark, because it's when they're gonna come out and feed and eat later in the day when they're finally warm, instead of being out there at early morning where it's still below zero. Depending on where you're at in the Midwest. Yeah,
I mean, it just gives you that idea of when you need to be in the woods. Like, you can't hunt maybe Saturday to Sunday night, sun up to sundown both days, but maybe you can hunt a morning or an evening one of those days. So how do you go about choosing either the evening of Sunday or the morning of Saturday? Reflects in that barometric. If you can figure out little tricks to plan your weekend out, maybe you can get more effective, like you said, with the barometric pressure and obviously.
The nice thing with podcasts and what you're doing is providing education for the common hunter, and it's like I've listened to from Mark Kenyon to Bruce Hutchin, Steve Ranella, Cameron Haynes, and these guys all produce a lot of good information that you can download to your phone, and this is your way of having an education for free.
Right. Yeah, you can learn a lot driving behind your steering wheel on the way to work, back and forth to work every day. A lot. Oh yeah, and like the best part, if you're doing chores around the house or when you're mowing the lawn, you got 2 hours to kill. You throw your headphones on and you can buy yourself a nice headset so it muffles out the sound of the mower, and there you go. You just zone out because all you're doing is either walking or riding in a circle. Yeah, I think podcasting is definitely the new age of media. I think I heard Joey Diaz said that I may be misquoting him, but something along the lines of the 8 o'clock spot is now 1 to 2 in the afternoon when people are sitting behind their desk on their lunch break. It's not 8 o'clock at night on prime time. That's when the numbers are being hit now. My previous job, I worked 10-hour shifts, and but I got to earn the right to work independently. So this way I could do whatever I wanted, but I still made what I needed to get done. But the upside was that I could listen to podcasts all day long. I would blow through 4 or 5 podcasts in a day, depending on what the length was. And it was awesome because it's like I did my job, I got to zone out, and I was happy. It was if you can achieve that level of happiness at your job, then it's like you've done all the right moves. Yeah, I tell you, what's a terrible feeling though is when you are listening to that many podcasts and you realize, shit, I have no more new ones to listen to. I got to find a new podcast or start going back in the vault. Oh, most definitely. Well, shoot, there's over 700 podcasts for Joe Rogan. There's over 400 for Joey Diaz. Steve Ranella has over 100. Mark Kenyon's got over 100 himself. Nice thing is people that are going to be listening to this are going to have an opportunity to these guys are brilliant talking about something I should really look into. And don't you forgot to mention the IHUNT podcast in there. It has 3 episodes online. True, yeah. Soon to be 4. Oh, but it's like that's for the average guy that has a family and kids, and your podcast is the perfect length, about 45 minutes to an hour, and you can just dive into some details really easily. I try to. I try to ask the questions that somebody in my shoes would be asking. It's easy to. I'm not going to say it's easy, but it seems like a lot of stuff is geared to the people who are hunting every day. That's where a lot of the advice stream is coming from. So, so I'm trying to ask it from the average hunter's point of view, I guess. Makes sense. This way, then, for somebody that has that ability to be able to dedicate so much time to learning, that we can break it down to somebody that doesn't have the time, just to maximize that. Like you said, you can hunt Saturday morning or you can hunt Sunday evening. So I'm not trying to, I guess, shifting gears a little bit here. I've been seeing a ton of turkey pictures coming in on Twitter, and I'm kind of pissed because I still have 2.5, 3 weeks yet before my season starts. How far out are you guys?
April 12th is opening day.
April 12th, so you're right around the corner, right?
Oh yes, and I only hunt archery just because I got the pleasure to work with VIP and their broadheads. So it's like I'm just going to shoot them passionately and go from there because their product is all made United States. They're actually looking. Talking to Matt yesterday, he was saying that he was going to be opening up assembly in Sparta, Wisconsin, where the home of Matthews is. And to me, that's only 30 minutes away, and it's amazing that he's dedicating so much time to keeping everything here in America to keep that high level of productivity or production
awesome.
level up. Yeah, and it's like he's just mind blowing, just so much knowledge he throws at people, and goes through that. He gave Jake and I a wonderful breakdown because he said to go ahead and take some time, and we're gonna do some comparison on an engineering level with all of the current broadheads and give everybody a fair shot because not everybody's going to like Stinger or Rage or Muzzy. So this way we're going to talk about everything and we're going to demonstrate them through whatever means necessary. Like this year I'm going to be shooting the Veteran. My girlfriend's going to be shooting the Atom. He's going to be shooting the Guillotine. So that's 3 of theirs. And then we have other people that he's starting to book hunts with. They're going to be using their own preferences for turkey. And so with all that footage, we're going to be able to come up with something nice for everybody.
You're just going to be able to are you going to do any other kind of test on them, like any ballistics or any penetrating tests, like through wood? Or I know I've seen videos like that. Are you planning on doing anything like that?
We haven't come across an opportunity where we can get access to some pork ribs because Matt would like us to demonstrate through flesh. So this way people can see how things can ricochet and deflect and also penetrate. And gelatin will show that, but it's people want to see how it goes through flesh. So when they're sitting in there, and it's like looking at the animal, it's like, okay, where am I going to place this arrow so this way it doesn't ricochet off a rib, or if it's going to penetrate to the shoulder blade, stuff like that. So if we have an opportunity to find somebody that's slaughtering pigs at the time, we have an opportunity for it.
Yeah, I would like to see that video.
That's exactly it. So somebody on this podcast or listen to this podcast and it's like, hey, over here, I'm going to be doing this, and it's like either in Wisconsin or Minnesota or Iowa, something that's relatively simple for us to drive, close for us to drive to be able to spend 3-4 hours doing all this fun stuff.
Yeah, that would be a blast.
Yeah, and it's like we'll do different poundage, so this way then it's like not everybody's going to draw at 70, so it's like we can start at 40, 50, and 60, some of the most common draw weights. So this way then it's like you kind of have an idea what to hopefully expect from when you release the arrow.
Yeah, if you're out there and you have just slaughtered a pig and you want to hang up a ham and let Jeff Vance come out and shoot it, I'm sure he'll give you his email.
Oh, yes.
Or Skype him at Jeff from Iowa.
Yep.
So what kind of things are you doing right now to get ready for turkey season?
Scouting has been the biggest thing. Today I spent roughly about an hour and a half just looking through trails that I've known that I've seen deer and turkeys come through. And so I got a chance to go out there and reline my trail cams in a different location to see what I can do, because now I patterned them in the fall. Spring is a different ballgame because this is the first time hunting this property for turkey.
Okay, is this have you hunted deer on it for a while, or is this?
Yes, this will be my 3rd year hunting deer on it, but my 1st year for turkey.
Okay. So
this October, Alicia and I are sitting in the blind, and we watched the turkeys come out. They did this big old oval after the field's been plucked, and we watched them come right around. It's like we found where we're going to set in the fall, where we're going to set in the spring. So now I have 6 trail cameras out there in different locations to see where we can put up just a simple burlap post ground blind. Something just like, because we found it on Pinterest for $20. It's like, this is genius, because now we don't have to go out and buy a $100 or $200 ground blind. Now, if you had the money, go for it. But if you want to be simple, so this way, if something bad were to happen to it, it's like, I'm only out $10. I'm not that big a deal.
you mentioned that you have a blind. Are you and your wife going to be hunting at the same time together?
Yes. Yep.
How does that work out?
You know,
I would go over
blinds.
well in my house.
Big blinds. Yes, big blinds. Well, the nice thing is where we hunt at, we have a lot of sagebrush where we can cut like a nice little dome and then just put a wall of burlap there, and we can just kind of tuck back in there and just kind of wait for them to call in. I met Tom from the Turkey Tamer Products. He runs a company out of Milwaukee that he designed this platform that mounts underneath your decoy. And what it does is it drops and raises and twists the decoy, and you
can look like it's moving.
Exactly, and then you put a hen on there, and you could drop it down as a resting hen or ready to mate hen, you know. And he said he's had turkeys come in from 60 to over 100 yards away, finding out why she's not coming to him. And when I saw his,
and who was this? Well, who made this?
I'm
gonna write it down. Does he have a website, or he's just making them himself right now?
Yes, he does have a website. It's turkeytamer.com. It's on one of my posts on there. I'm getting his actual personal business card right now. I have his pro staff, Vern, which is he's a nice guy. I actually offered him a field staff position with Bucks over Wisconsin, because I'm always looking for new talent that wants to work their way up.
Turkey Tamer. www.turkeytamer. It says it's a grease and turkey tours. Hold on. Searching for it now.
All right. Well, I will get you the information, but
I'll tag it. You get it to me, and I'll tag it in the down below so people can check it out.
Oh yeah, but I do have his. He does have it's wildturkeyhuntingproducts.com. So I think that's where you're going to be able to find the Turkey Tamer.
Now, you said you were checking some trail cameras, right? Did you see anything?
No, well, one was dead, which I knew it was getting low anyways when I put it up there 2 weeks ago. So it's like and I put it in a new area that wasn't very fruitful. So I was like, it's just a shot in the dark. Well, I had a situation with my hunting partner that I hunt with here in Minnesota, excuse me. And a few weeks ago, Alicia and I were out there. We're walking around, checking the trail cams, and it's like everywhere I go, where I know the trail cams are at, they're gone. Now, my buddy never told me about it. So, like any good parent does, they set up a trap to see if they're lying to you.
Right.
So, I set up a trap for him, and sure enough, he was lying through his teeth. And then today, so I go, and it's like, he said he didn't look at the pictures. That's what he told me in the text message. And I go ahead and I look through them, and I put in my card reader, and it says modified on the folder on March 10th, and it's like they're all gone. So all my research from November should have been to today is gone.
Oh my god!
All gone.
My god!
Yes, I do have some pictures that I've posted of some toms and some hens and some does, but they're all from February and stuff like that too. And so really didn't get a good solid piece of information about what's going on in my herd.
Oh my goodness! And you got 12 days out, but maybe you'll get something out of it. Now, when you said you had the cameras, did you have them all on that field? Like, did you do a perimeter around the field, or were you? What I did is
I stuck them throughout different hot trails that I know that the deer change and stuff like that. Because during shotgun season this year, the pattern changed. So my month of November hunting was pretty much shot. It's like they went all nocturnal from the cameras that I placed through all the trails they went to. Because once the cornfield dropped, they went inside. They went into this little ravine area. And so I put them all throughout there that I know they travel. So ones were for the does and one for the bucks. But every time I went out there, checked them, they're all during at night. It's like, well, I'm just going to kind of wait. And so then finally went out there, December 8th, went out there and saw them. It's like, they're finally moved to daylight now. So it's like, all right, I'm sitting out there waiting for them, and never did see a shootable doe or a shootable buck. The zone I hunt in Minnesota requires a minimum of 4 broad tines on one side. So it's like I called in a 5-pointer and a pass on him, which is good because this year I'm hoping it turns into an 8-pointer because it's like he looked healthy, it looks good. A lot of the offspring that we're seeing right now survived that deep cold winter of 13, 14 was, where we had 100 consecutive days below zero.
Okay.
And so a lot of that offspring are still surviving. So it's like a lot of them I'm trying to avoid taking because I want them to continue reproducing, keep those strong genes going.
You said 100 consecutive days below zero?
Yes.
Jesus
Rochester
Christ.
was 99, and Minneapolis was something like 120. It was horribly cold.
Oh my God! I would shoot myself. That is. I mean, it gets cold here, but oh my goodness.
Oh yes, I mean it's like they put out. Even the governor put out a warning. He was worked a backdoor deal with the propane companies because they were charging us $4 a gallon just because. Hey, nobody's going to stop us. We own the government, so it's like, what are you going to do? So he figured out something to drop the prices back down. Create subsidies for those who couldn't afford it.
I'd be moving. Ohio's not that far. There's some good hunting in Ohio.
Oh yes, or even going down to Kansas and Missouri. It's like granted, it gets hot in the summertime, but boy, those winters are great. They're gorgeous.
Yeah, I bet you got a little bit more room to play around with out there. You don't get that much room around here in Ohio.
Yeah, because I mean, well, you look from Ohio was just boomed during the Industrial Revolution, so everything's pretty much there's not a whole lot of corners that doesn't have a house on it or an acreage on it or even a town.
There's definitely not. I mean, we have very few public lands, and the ones we do are just so massively overhunted. And any kind of private land you can land is 80 some acres. You know, it's not going to be these vast wildernesses like you can find as you move out west. That's what it's. Mm-hmm. It's weird when you hunt in Ohio. Like you always hear something man-made. You know, you'll hear somebody cutting a tree or a car going by. Like you can't get deep enough in the woods to not hear that stuff. And that's why I kind of want to go on some trips out west to experience that complete silence of nature.
I got a spot where I have no cell service in Minnesota. I have no cell service. It's something a little over 1,200 acres I get to choose from. I've been only hunting this land for roughly 6 years, but there's been people that have been hunting on this land for over 25, and we got stands all over the countryside. It's just awesome. We have to share with the cattle, but the farmer is such a humble guy that he will maneuver the herd so this way then he doesn't have to worry about anybody getting hurt or any cattle getting shot. And since he does that, there's been no issues for decades.
How often do you get to go out there?
Last year, not very a lot because there's been other people. There was too much pressure. Instead of having a small group of guys, instead of having like 10 guys to be able to hunt out there throughout the course of the year, it skyrocketed over 25, and it's like it just became to the point where it's browns down. So it's like they're capturing the wrong ethics that I want to be a part of. They're just shooting everything. Which is not a good thing to do because you're taking all the big bucks that survive the harsh winter and you're trimming the female herd down, and then there's on top of that too there's coyotes and there's a big cat out there.
A big cat?
Yeah, we're not sure if it's a mountain lion or something like that, but it is. I've seen it once. I only saw his tail. I tell you what, my heart was racing so fast, and I pulled my shotgun up to my shoulder, just ready to go. But he was gone. But
in Minnesota?
Yep. Oh yes. Well, here in Wisconsin, we're having a big issue with the wolves pushing the bear south.
Really?
They're going as far south as my hometown in Osage, Iowa. There's a bear down there, and then we're having bear here in La Crosse. Bear walked right downtown.
We had a bear probably, I think 4 years ago. They found in a little suburb down from my house, down here in Southwest Ohio. Uh-huh. A black bear.
Wow. And what the wolf situation that's going on here is that there is no season for it, and everybody has this Disneyland opinion on wolves, and they're the psychopaths of nature. They will kill just for fun. And they're
they're brutal.
150 miles. Oh, they're just gnarly.
And the fact is, I mean, with wolves, I mean they're smart. They travel in a pack, and like you said, they just rip up anything in their path, kill for fun.
Mm-hmm. And right now, Wisconsin is getting close to 200 on the hoof of elk, which is amazing. The elk population is taking well.
Yeah, I saw that they got more. They introduced some more from Kentucky a few weeks ago, I saw.
Yep, they bought another 28 more, and so far everything's been really well. It's still getting used to it. They're going to be in a penned-in area for 90 days to get them acclimated to the area, and then it's pretty much they're going to open it up to a much larger area where it's all free range. And so they're going to open up hunting first time this season. They're
already, really?
Yep, they're going to do 10 tags. then one of them is going to be a governor's tag. So I really hope that tag goes for a couple $100,000, just to really put the money back in there. I was talking to the Rocky Mountain Foundation guys there at the show this weekend, and they said they orchestrated the regulations for an elk tag for 70 cents on every dollar goes into rebuilding the herd.
Yeah, where else can you? What other community can you get that kind of support to?
It's
raise that kind of money for wildlife as opposed to hunters. I mean, there's no other avenue where elk could be in Wisconsin right now if it wasn't for hunters.
Exactly, and Steve Brunel has repeated this throughout his career. Like, we are currently right now what we call the good old days. We have 30+ million turkeys all across the United States. Where when Christopher Columbus started them, there was almost on the brink of extinction. We have record numbers of whitetail, and they're trying to reintroduce caribou.
That's just crazy.
Mm-hmm. Caribou used to cross the border between America and Canada in the early 1900s, but once they started introducing the highway system, that cut their migration pattern. And now they only stay up north.
I would love to see the caribou make their way down here. And
I was listening to a podcast, and they said they're not doing very well. They got hit hard with the predators. So they had 12, and they tagged 6, and 6 of them are all dead.
Yeah, I think I heard that same podcast. Yeah.
Okay, so you're feeling with it. I think it'd be great to see caribou back because they're so pretty. They're so majestic. The white pattern and the polka dots and that rack is just amazing.
But I mean, it's like anything though. I mean, it's hard to acclimate them to a new environment. They're designed for a specific environment. They're designed to be on essentially frozen chunks of land, right?
Yep.
I mean, am I wrong? To try to bring them further south, I mean, it's going to be a tough task.
Yeah, and with the highway system, it's kind of put a damper on their migration route. So that's why I don't think we're going to see it in our lifetime to be able to hunt one, unless you go in Canada or Alaska to be able to draw a tag. But even still there, if you want to go hunt something like that in Alaska or in the Arctic Circle, you're looking at 10 to 15 grand. It's really expensive because they make it up there where you have to either there's somebody you get to know that lives there that's a resident, or you have to hire a guide service, I believe, to hunt most animals there.
Well, I mean, just the fact that they're even trying to get caribou down here is great. I mean, you wouldn't see PETA do something like that. Spend that kind of money. Caribou.
Which is weird too, because it's like, why wouldn't they instead of taking all this money and doing all this hate campaigning? Why don't you do something positive with that type of money you're bringing in? Because it's like we created the Turkey Federation, the Rocky Mountain Elk Federation. This is all done self-started by hunters.
Right. PETA didn't bring the turkey back. PETA didn't bring make the whitetail population what it is. PETA didn't put elk in Kentucky. I mean, it's all work done by hunters, and I mean that's what makes me proud to be a hunter. I mean, everybody talks on. I mean, you hear so much garbage about shame on hunters and stuff, but I mean, I have zero shame being a part of this community, and
I agree. I've met some of the most nicest people out there in the hunting world. I met Dan Reiser. He is the president and CEO of the Outdoor Option TV show, and he is just a really nice gentleman to talk to. I only got to pick his ear for a few minutes, but I was telling him how much I appreciate his hard work that he developed in these canvas ground blinds and stuff like that. And I told him I'm part of Bucks of America, and we had a really good contest this past season. We're going to be doing another one, and I really would like to partner up with you and do something to continue bringing your brand out there, but also encouraging ours and introducing new hunters to the whole aspect to this culture. Because we're running into a situation where tag numbers and the generate people between 18 to 35 is dropped, almost virtually not even existent. There's still
really,
but it's not really there. It's like if you talk to a DNR agent from whatever state you're in, they'll be forthcoming about what the statistics are, like what's going on. It's like we've gone from a culture of living outside to being inside. We developed these cell phones, these PS3s, these Xboxes. It's like, sometimes it's like it'd been nice to live in the 1950s and 60s where it's like you were forced to be outside and figure out how things do everything on a budget. Now everybody is inside, go. It's like take a step back and just breathe, because life is an adventure.
Just sit and listen. I mean, how often do you just sit and listen? Like in the woods when I'm hunting, that's the only time that I just sit and listen to what is going on around me. I'm not looking. Yeah, obviously I'm looking, but I mean, you don't take that time in your life just to stop if you don't get outdoors, if you don't fish, if you don't hunt. I don't know where people will get that outlet at. I mean, I guess they can meditate. I guess yoga. I guess those are all outlets.
Oh yeah, and all this public land is everybody's. You know, it's like I'd love to be able to take people that have, like, from the inner city of Minneapolis or Milwaukee, or people that have never been experienced to it, just take them out on a public land hike and just
you don't even have to.
Yeah, just like, because this land is for us. You could be a cross country skier and just go anywhere. There's so much opportunity for people to do it, and it's so unutilized. For a random fact here, statistic, Iowa last year alone bought or donated 25,000 acres of public land all across the state. That's amazing.
Yeah. When I got into hunting, it shocks to me that you were saying that how the tags are down between 18 and 35. I mean, from what because I got into it at age 32, but it's just like, I guess it's intimidating to get into hunting, because I mean, as I was starting to think about, maybe I want to try to learn, like, you don't really know where to start if you didn't grow up with it. I think it makes it hard if a lot of, like, it seems like nowadays people aren't taking their kids and teaching them to hunt. Their father may have took them to hunt, when they grew up, but I don't feel like it's getting passed down through the generations,
Yeah. I believe it's time. It's the lack of time, because due to insurance and healthcare, stuff that costs a lot of money, and it doesn't get you ahead. It doesn't help you out really, because you're still broke at the end of the day. And it's like a lot of our, like, these kids that are coming up nowadays, the parents had to work so hard, or working or both parents are working, is because they have to afford all these different things to be able to survive. And now with health insurance being required by law and all these other different things here, it makes it very difficult for us to work. And plus, I have to work 40 hours for somebody, so this way somebody doesn't have to.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it comes down to is the lack of time, because we're so broke. We're just over broke, and some people have not been shown an opportunity to figure out how to get into a life of luxury, or nobody believes in them, lack of confidence. And there's a lot of issues out there that we're having. And we live in America, which has its ups and its downs, but we live in the information age. And if you want to remain ignorant, that's your fault. Because it's like
yes, that is a valid point. You could learn anything you want on YouTube.
Oh, exactly. How to call.
But still getting some. You still need to have. I feel like hunting is a sport that you need to have somebody to take you out and show you the ropes.
Oh, yeah.
You have to have that communication. If you didn't have, like, if I didn't have reach out to my buddy from high school, Joey, to take me out, I don't know how I would have made that step into the woods. You know what I mean? By myself, without having a little bit of guidance. Granted, my guidance wasn't all that great, and I've learned a lot more since then. It's a hard sport to get into, and it's very intimidating going up to somebody and trying to ask for advice, because, like, you feel like you're asking questions that are stupid, because this guy learned it when he was 3 years old, 4 years old, and he's known it his whole life. That's kind of how I felt. But then once I got into the community and started asking questions, I realized everybody is so welcoming to give you information and give you help and to show you something. Like, yeah, I can come out with you and I can show you more offers than I can count. Once you started finding out that I was into hunting.
Oh yeah, and I like finding somebody that's passionate about it. That he doesn't even have to take him out even hunting. You can take him to the gun range and shoot him how to do it, and that can open the whole doors. Or taking him to the archery range, and then, hey, let's go shoot some bows real quick, and let's see what you think. And then they see you having fun, and they get contagious about it. And the excitement builds and stuff, and goes from there. I've been playing paintball for 20 years, so it's like my passion comes out every so often, and I get to show it off to a lot of people. And once they see the adrenaline rush and how they can manipulate that into the schedule and seeing the benefits of doing something like that, it's just like, if you show somebody the passion behind it and you're very passionate about the outdoors, it's contagious. It just runs rampant.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Seeing somebody passionate about anything makes you kind of a little bit passionate about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
When's the first time you shot a bow?
Actually, it was 3 years ago.
3 years ago. Okay, so hey, that's about me. That's awesome.
Yep, that's what but I've been gun hunting for years. It's just.
What did you think when you shot that bow for the first time? Were you instantly in love with it?
Yeah, exactly. Because there's nothing. It's just this centering effect that happens because when you draw that bow back, you're not caring about your bills. You're not caring about what's going on in anybody else's life. All you're concentrated is that pull, your breathing, your target, and that release. And just like it's a great way to have therapy. If you're stressed out, and that's what I found. It's like it was very calming. And then I still gun hunt every once in a while, depending on what I'm hunting for. But I prefer bow hunting because it's like it's a challenge.
It's fun. I mean, it's fun to shoot your bow. It's fun to get off work, go home, you eat dinner, you got an hour left of sunlight. Shit, I'm gonna shoot the bow in the backyard. I mean,
exactly. Today I just bought a turkey target, my first turkey target, because it's like Alicia wants to start turkey hunting, and I want to get more proficient in shooting a smaller target. So we found a good deal at Fleet Farm, bought it, and now it's like we're going to be hammering that thing a lot this next couple of weeks.
How long has your wife been hunting?
So on and off since she was 10, so a little over 20 years. So if you were to take it all consecutively, probably about 5 years worth of hunting. Her dad got into hunting years ago and continued on. And when she met me, it's like I just kind of promoted her interest in it, and then we got guns and we got bows and arrows, and things have just been escalating from there.
That's something she learned as a kid, and then just when she met with you, she rekindled her passion for it.
Pretty much. And she had a bow prior to me, but her ex pawned it. He had a...
oh, dick.
Yes, he had addiction issues, and so anything of value was pawned at one point in time.
Oh, my
Jewelry, hunting equipment, like all the stuff that was most valuable to her.
Okay, and you've been hunting since you were a kid as well?
Oh, yeah. I think, well, let's see here. Got BB gun at 10. I didn't get a much stronger rifle until, or shotgun, because hunting in Iowa don't get to use rifles, so it's only shotgun. So I got a 12 gauge, or 410, excuse me. 410 was my first shotgun. Single shot. I think it's the gun's probably 70 years old, but man, I've killed my fair share of birds and squirrels and rabbits and stuff like that. It's so much fun, and then plus I always had a sharp eye, and it's like my dad's friends would get really competitive with it. At the end of the season in February, when small game ends up, they would do a game, and they would all have a point structure on the whole thing, like on how big the rabbit weighed, how big it was, how long it was, how long the ears were, and whoever was on my team would always typically win, because they could be driving down the road, going 40 miles an hour, and there's a rabbit. There's one.
You just were able to spot him out the window. Yeah, like
exactly. Because most of my teammates were all in their 40s, so it's like here I am, not even a teenager yet. It's like there's one, and it's like whoever saw it.
Yeah, that actual game eye.
Yes. And whoever saw it first got to go shoot it.
So you always had to.
Not always, but I did. Once they hit my bag limit, then it transitioned to somebody else. It's like I'll spot them, but it's your turn to hit them, because it's like.
Now, when did I get into? Sorry, go ahead.
Why I broke it down to it's like once I hit my game limit, then it's their turn, because it's like I'm not going to cut anybody else's. I'm not going to butcher anybody else's animals. It's like you harvested it. That's your job.
Now, when did you make the transition to a big game animal?
Oh, teenage years. When I started hunting deer, I think it was 13. Right after that, when we started getting the shotgun hunt. Well, my dad was a muzzleloader, and I never got to go with the guys. So I went during the youth season of shotguns.
So you never got to go to deer camp or anything growing up?
No, because that's where all the guys got to go. So it was.
I was hoping for some good deer camp stories.
No, that's one of those things where it was the guys only, because it's like it's everybody else is drinking. And it's like it kind of messed up the whole vibe, because you got kids in there. So it's like then you have to mind your P's and Q's. When there's no kids there, then it's a whole other ballgame, because this way then you can get a little tipsy and pass out wherever you want to go and talk about inappropriate stuff and not have to worry about getting reported back to the wife or the moms.
Now, I've never gotten to go to deer camp. Obviously, I didn't grow up with hunting, but I can imagine from the stories I've heard about deer camps is there's not really a whole lot of early morning hunting going on.
No, These guys were professional. These guys knew how to drink and sober up by 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, yes.
They had it down to a science.
Oh, yes, they did. Well, they live in Iowa, so not much they do except for drink and procreate, you know?
Okay, so when did you become the savage?
That was right around the same time. I was listening to Joe Rogan. He was talking about archery and how much he really enjoyed it. And it's like, it kind of felt like I was part of it because his little following. And I wanted to go along with it. And then it's like, then as my, started really letting this to sink in, I was like, it's like savage is something that really takes a lot of time out of the day to do something that not everybody can do. Because it's like, I've been out there 13 below zero with the wind chill of making negative 26 dollars or sitting in the deer stand waiting for a deer. And
that's savage.
Exactly. And to be able to take home animal to feed your family is far more rewarding than just going to the grocery store and picking up 5 pounds of hamburger. Because then you have that appreciation for it. And once you have the appreciation for it, then you want to do everything in your power to make sure your food source stays abundant. So you're going to take whatever costs to build food plots, build shelters, build sanctuaries. Sanctuary has been the one thing I've learned out of all things I've learned over the years. Building a sanctuary for your deer that's not hunted helps mature your herd.
Yeah, I was actually talking to my buddy about that, where we're talking about put in some food plots this season up in a property we hunt. And that was one thing that I wanted to lay out to him before we did it. I was like, I want to make this our main food plot, zero hunting on. I don't want anybody to touch this land. Nobody hunts it. Nobody kills a deer on this food plot. That's going to be, and then we can hunt trails leading to it. We can hunt different side food plots, that kind of stuff, but just a sanctuary where deer from all around can come and never feel pressured.
Smart. That is probably the best laid out plan I've heard. Next to it, because it's something that I've been pretty lucky for the place to hunt that I haven't had to develop a food plot, because one area has clovers all year long. Another area has cornfields and bean fields, so it's like there's always food around. They have water, so I haven't had necessarily the need to do it because the herd stays relatively close by to where we're going at, and it's like now it's up to you to call them in, which I learned here just this past fall, because I never really got into calling until this year. Now, last year when I was with my friend, when I took all my trail cams, I was just a him call, so it's kind of mirroring him. Well, after doing some YouTube research, running the guys YouTube, calling all wrong, calling all wrong. That's why it's like my 2015 year, I got skunked. He was calling all wrong, and I let him do it all. It's like I was still a little green behind the ears when it came down to calling, and then this year,
I know that feeling. I've been in that same situation. I learned from somebody who didn't know how to call.
And then it's like I called him out on it, and I asked him, "What was your pattern? How are you doing this?" and stuff like that. We were in 2 different properties, and so I was like, "Well, here, do this." And I sent it to him, and he didn't talk back to me the rest of the day. And it's like that's when I called in some does, and it's like, this is awesome. It's like I was doing it right. And simple 3 bleeps every 10 minutes, and you'll get something to come in.
Okay, Jeff, we're running up on about an hour now. My wife just pulled up.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. She it's nice enough to leave the house and let me have a quiet house to record this in, but she's home and waiting in the car, so I'm going to have to get her and cut this short a little bit. We didn't quite make an hour, and I had some more things I wanted to touch with you about, but I'll have to bring you back on. I think it was a good show.
I believe so, too. We got to this is probably an awesome conversation I haven't had in a while. Like, my girlfriend and I have, or my wife and I have a lot of good conversation about this, and it's nice to be able to have this aired out in a nice public forum. I think we should definitely do a part 2 or part 3, because you're a really nice guy to talk to.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
To add one correction, I'm a head of state for Bucks of Wisconsin, for Bucks of America.
Oh, okay.
So
head of state.
What that means is that I am in charge of this market, of the Wisconsin area. So I was tasked to find multiple pro staff, and now I'm building up a field staff, because our whole idea is to promote within and to be able to get everybody to access to different stuff, and it's been really cool to be meeting Jake this weekend for the first time, and from your last podcast, and then several other people too. So, yeah.
I'm glad things are going good for you. I hope they continue to roll. You continue to grow, and you continue to get bucks of Wisconsin out there, and I will be tagging you guys in everything I tweet.
I already got you followed on everything I do, so it's like whenever you post something, you'll most likely see a like right after you do it. It's a little stalkerish,
All right.
but
Well, thanks again.
You got to stay to the ground when somebody is on the right note.
All right. Well, once again, thank you very much, Jeff, and you have a good evening, and I will be in touch.
You too, Jason. Had a blast there. Thank you.
All right, guys, that's it. That's the show. Thanks for listening. I appreciate all the support you guys are showing me. All the feedback I'm getting on Twitter is great. I'm glad you guys are liking the show. Please, I'm going to remind you one last time, if you are listening to this on iTunes or Stitcher, even if you're not, or SoundCloud, please just search for my show on there, and I'll put a link down in the description here to where you guys can go in and leave a review, rate the show, and check out Bucks of Wisconsin for Jeff. They got a lot of cool stuff, especially if you're living in Wisconsin, a lot of cool gear. And please check out Veterans Innovative Products, veteranip.com. It's a great company. It's veteran owned, veteran designed, made in America stuff. So it's a really good cause to support and a really good product to get behind. Thanks, Jeff, for coming on today. It was a lot of fun. Follow him on Twitter at Jeff from Iowa. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about the show, please feel free to email me at the IHUNTpodcast@gmail.com. Visit our website for all the latest podcasts at www.theihuntpodcast.com. All right, thanks for sticking out this long, and I appreciate you all, and be looking forward to episode number 5 next week. So, see you next week.
Hey, let's go shoot some bows real quick and let's see what you think. And then they see you having fun, and they get contagious about it. And the excitement builds and stuff and goes from there.